Everyone in this tribunal should know that Puerto Rico is the country with the highest rate of female sterilization in the world. And it has been that way for decades. Why did this happen? Because being a colony and being subjected to the domination of the United States, in 1937, they passed a law legalizing sterilization in Puerto Rico on very wide basis, on a very wide basis. Basically, if you were poor, you were allowed to have a sterilization, while in other countries, sterilization was prohibited. So the accumulation of sterilized women is responsible throughout the decades is responsible for this high rate of sterilization. How did this happen? They made sterilization free in all public health facilities, very available, widely available at a time. We're talking about 1937 when it started, at a time when the economy in Puerto Rico was suffering greatly because of the depression, the crash in the 30s, and also the fact that the main job source for Puerto Rican men was in the sugarcane industry, and that was seasonal. So it happened because of that. A lot of the women were the ones that had an income in the homes, because also the needlework industry was on the rise because of the war in Europe, and that started in 1939, and women were the workers of the needlework industry. So what we had was a situation in which the bread earner in the family was the woman, and the women needed to get sterilized. There were no other contraceptives available, and the need was one of the main reasons why many women decided to get sterilized. Also, within that scenario, the women thought they were not properly informed. Many women thought that sterilization was, they called it the tied tubes operation, and they didn't know that the tubes were cut and tied. Those two ends were tied. And a lot of women, in my documentary La Operación, you will hear one person in particular who said that she thought that the sterilization could be easily reversed. Also, another woman in the film said that this other woman was, she was in childbearing age in the 70s and 80s, and she didn't have information, clear information about other contraceptive methods, which were then available in the 70s and 80s. But there wasn't much information. Also, when the economy of Puerto Rico again had a really bad moment in the decade of the 70s, because all the industries that had come for Operation Bootstrap enjoying a 20-year tax break. When that tax break ended, they left Puerto Rico. So again, we were in a very bad situation. And in the decade of the 70s, the Puerto Rican Health Department did have a sterilization campaign directed by a doctor named Antonio Silva. And he's interviewed in the film, and he said that they would even take all their clinics, their birth control clinics, to the factories where the women worked. So it was really, the situation in Puerto Rico was such that women were not forced with a knife in their throat, but there was a definite policy for promoting sterilization in this country. And as a result of that, we have the highest rate of sterilization in the world. ¿Tú quieres algo más?